Hi guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Adobe Osazua and I'm filming all the way from London, Ontario. So it's been a long day and I'm really tired. I'm sure I look tired, but you know how sometimes you just have something so heavy on your heart and you feel like you just really need to talk about something while it's just hot in your mind. And I was contemplating, should I do it today or another day when I'm just all fresh and all that. But you know, sometimes you just have to come in front of the camera and just really say it as it is. So today I want to talk about peer pressure, but I want to specifically speak about self-pressure. And my definition, I don't know if it's existed, but my definition of self-pressure is self-inflicted pressure. When we create thoughts and manufacture thoughts and expectations in our mind and impose those expectations on ourselves. You know, growing up when we're much younger, teenagers, early 20s, peer pressure was more like, you know, when other people want you to do things like them or behave the way they behave or do things the way they do things. And most of us have learned to, we've matured, we learned to overcome that. But I think as we get older, there's another level of maturity, especially in today's age of social media, where everybody's always putting their best foot forward, and all you see is what they want you to see. You don't really get to see the real person or their everyday experiences. It's really what they present you see. So I think it's just much more important, because many times we just create these standards, or we see things on social media and begin to have these negative feelings or thoughts about ourselves and begin to inflict unnecessary pressure on ourselves. And yeah, why do we do that to ourselves? Really, why? I want to start by just quoting the Bible scripture. 2 Timothy 1 verse 7 says, "For God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power, love, and a sound mind." Also, I just thought about the Bible verse that says, "Be anxious for nothing, but in all things through prayer and supplication with thanksgiving, let your needs be made known to God." So God has given us a sound mind, and God doesn't want us to be anxious or fearful or just feeling low or feeling left out or feeling unworthy or having a low self-esteem because you are constantly comparing yourselves to others, or you are comparing yourselves to some standard that you have inflicted on yourself for no reason. Many times we all fall, many of us might fall into this trap. And it's not something this is really for everyone, regardless of who you are. I know that many times on this channel I try to speak from like a Nigerian or African or immigrant perspective, but I think this cuts across cultures, it cuts across age group, and this is something that affects every single one of us. I'm going to give you guys an example. So with me, a couple of months ago, after I had my baby, couple of months after I had my baby, remember, I was just feeling really down. And I know you guys might say maybe that's postpartum depression. I don't think it was, and I don't think it was, but I was just feeling down. I felt like the whole world was moving on. I felt like I was just, although I was really happy being a new mom, I was really joyful and all that, but I felt like everywhere I looked around, it felt as if my contemporaries, or I guess my friends or contemporaries, everybody was moving on, doing big things, doing great things with their life, but me, I felt like I was just not making progress. I was stuck in one place. I felt like I wasn't doing enough. I felt like life was just passing me by. And I thank God that during that time I started just really spending time praying about it, because I knew that what I was feeling was not a reflection of reality. I knew that. And during that time, I remember that I was just constantly just praying. Like, I didn't even tell my husband, but random times I would just say, Lord, I commit my mind into your hands. It is well with me. I have the mind of Christ. I was just speaking positive confessions and praying over my mind, because I knew that my mind was under attack. And the mind is such a powerful thing. The mind is so powerful because your mind can make your mind. Your mind can, with your mind you can do great things, but also if you have the wrong mindset, you can limit yourself so much that you're not even productive at all. So I remember during that time I was just praying and praying a lot and praying a lot, because I knew that this was not normal. And I thank God that I overcame that. And a couple of months after that whole period had passed, I was speaking with one of my really good friends, and we're just talking and sharing, and I just mentioned it to her, and she was like, wow, she would never have imagined that I would even feel that way, because I'm doing A, I'm doing B, I'm doing C. She's like, I'm multitasking, I'm being so productive with my mat leave, she was just saying all these things I'm doing, and I knew I was doing all these things, but somehow, I don't know how or where I got that idea from, that life was just passing me by. I felt left out. I felt like I wasn't progressing, and she was just like, oh, I would never have imagined that you out of everybody else would feel this way. And it just shows to tell you that nobody is above or beneath attacks on your mind. I'm just going to put it that way, because nothing bad comes from God. The Bible says every good and perfect gift comes from God. So the devil is always out there looking for ways to attack our minds, and it's important that we actively pray over our minds. And if we feel that certain thoughts are beginning to creep in that are not equivalent to what God has said about you, you need to really actively pray about it. So for anyone who is just really going through some emotional issues right now, if you feel that you are not really where you want to be, or you find yourself constantly comparing yourself to others, or you feel that your life is not as glamorous as you would like it to be, or things are not just working out the way you want it to be, you wish that you could be living someone else's life, you just have a sense of dissatisfaction, you feel left out, whatever those negative feelings or emotions are, I think the first thing I want to advise that you do is really unplug and get connected. When I say unplug from the source. Whatever source is feeding those negative thoughts and emotions, remember, we are a product of whatever we feed ourselves. The Bible says, out of the abundance of the heart the mouth speaketh. Whatever you feed yourself, you become a product of that thing. So if you've been feeding whatever that source of negativity is, you need to unplug from that source and connect to something positive. Connect to God, connect to positive things, connect to godly things, connect to things that will build you up. For example, when I was planning for my wedding, preparing for my wedding, I was on social media a lot, because I was looking for, I was looking for ideas, I was looking for vendors, I was pretty much looking for everything from scratch. I'm a very picky person, and I guess I have a unique taste as well. So I was just on social media a lot. I was on Instagram a lot. I spent hours and hours and hours on Instagram just trying to find the right color, find the right theme, find the right vendor. And yes, I had a wedding planner, but still I didn't want to use some of the vendors she usually would use, so I was just on social media a lot. And I think eventually I kind of got sucked into that whole social media, fast life and flashiness and all that, and I was on social media a lot. So long story short, my wedding came, my wedding happened. Now during the wedding, some things went as planned, some things went better than planned, and some things did not go as planned. And I remember going on Instagram to just kind of see, what's trending, and it got to a point where I had to be like, Adobe, what are you doing? Why is social media defining you? Why is social media defining how you rate the success of your wedding, not marriage. Marriage is a whole different thing, but the wedding, the actual event. And I had to just unplug, and just looking at my pictures, like, oh, I wish this happened, or I wish this person did this, or I wish this person did that, or I wish this happened, and so many wishes. And I had to be like, Adobe, stop, no. And I made the decision to just unplug from Instagram. So for like 7 to 8 months, guys, I was off the grid. I was not on Instagram, I was not posting, I took some break, and that was one of the best things I did for myself, because I needed that break to just reorganize myself, and I also needed to just connect with the new life. I was starting a family, I was newly married, my new role as a wife. I also had to connect to God and just take a break, because at that point Instagram was that source of negativity, and I had to just unplug. So whatever the source is for you guys, unplug and take a breather and connect to God, connect to positive things, connect to other things that are much more important than social media. Social media is very trivial. People only show you what they want you to see. So whatever it is for you, it might be setting friends. If you have a friend that maybe makes you feel less than, the friend might not mean it, or the friend might do it, regardless if the person is doing it on purpose or not. If it's a friend who's always constantly making you, making you feel less than, making you feel not good enough, guys, maybe give that friend some space. Don't have to fight with the person. Just withdraw a little and tell the person you just want to take some time to spend some time in God's presence and just take a breather. It's okay to do that sometimes if you need to. And yes, it might be jealousy making you feel that way, or whatever is making you feel that way, I don't know. But if it's jealousy, take that feeling to God. Take that emotion to God. Say, God, I'm feeling this way. Please help me overcome this feeling. It might be hanging around certain people. Take a break from those. It might even be something that is good, right? It's not always bad things. It might be something that is actually a good thing, but maybe you need to take a break and connect with God and find your bearing and re-strategize and then come back better. The second thing I'm gonna advise that you do is find things to keep you busy. There's this saying that an idle mind is the devil's workshop. Many times when we're idle, that's when we have time to look at other people's life, try to keep up with the Joneses, try to see what Tom, Dick, Harry, and Lagbaja is doing. But when you are busy doing something that is important to you, that you feel that you're making an impact, you don't have time for those things. You don't have time to really go and propose into other people's life. You're so busy doing your own stuff. So guys, find things to keep you busy. You can go back to school, you can get a certification, you can learn a new skill, you can start a new vocation, you can start a side business, you can start doing something. Just find something that you enjoy doing that will keep you busy, versus where you have too much time, so you're just like always watching TV, always on Instagram. Find things to do, find productive things to occupy your time. The other thing I was going to talk about is try to learn not to feel threatened by other people's success, guys. And I think this is especially for people who maybe have a business, and maybe your business is not doing, compared to someone else's business, yours is not doing as well, and you're starting to feel like you're threatened by that person's success, or you inquire and you feel like, oh, sister A sings better than me, and because if this sister is singing, you feel threatened. Guys, see, the sky is big enough for everybody to fly. And I see this a lot in the workplace setting, where you feel people try to sabotage other people because they feel like if this person succeeds, then my job or my role is threatened. Guys, God is not like that. God has abundance of blessings, and because someone else is being blessed doesn't mean your blessings is being deducted. and I'm going to share something. So the other day I was just really meditating, and something God told me. He just took me through the parable of the talents, how He gave somebody 5, 2, and 1 talent. And I was like, but God, why would you give somebody 5 and give somebody 2 and give somebody 1? It's not fair now. But what came into my mind was that God is perfect in all that He does, and He has given each and every one of us a level of creativity. Because if every one of us was the same, this life would be so boring. Yes, the person that has 5 talents might have 5 talents, the person might have 2 talents. Let me say it this way. The person that has 2 talents, there might be some other skills that person have, or something else they are really good at, that the person that has 5 talents might not have, or might not be as good at doing. So God is perfect. He has made all of us different and beautiful in our own way. All things bright and beautiful, all creatures great and small, right? God has made all of us different because He enjoys variety. If we're all the same, we spoke the same, we reasoned the same way, this life would be so boring. So let us be less concerned about this person sings better than me. Let us instead think of this skill or this talent God has given me. How can I use it to the best of my ability? How do I ensure that I am using every skill, every talent God has deposited in me to its highest potential? So be concerned about using the talents or the skills or whatever it is you have. Use it to the highest potential and be less concerned about what somebody else is doing. Because there are things you are able to do that person who you think is so wonderful is not able to do. So guys, focus on you. Focus on the things God has placed in your heart. Focus on using your life, your skills, your talents, improving on them and using them to please God. Versus, this person is doing this thing, I think I'm going to do it too because I want to show I can do it better. Guys, that is very trivial, and it will only set you up for failure. You will only end up feeling dissatisfied. You keep competing for no reason, and you just lose your peace for no reason. So the sky is big enough for everybody to fly. The last thing I want to talk about is have goals and have a vision for your life. Habakkuk 2 verse 2 says, write the vision, make it plain, so that he that reads it will run with it. It's good you have a vision and goal for your life, because when you have a goal, you know where you're headed, you have a plan in your mind, and that way you're not distracted by whatever anybody else is doing or whatever anybody else is saying, because you have a plan and you have a goal and you're working towards it. But when you don't have a plan, you don't have a goal, anything that comes up, you want to do it. This person is doing A, you want to do it. This person is doing B, you want to do B. This person is doing C, you want to do C. But when you have a plan, you have a goal, you have a vision, you have things that you know you want to achieve. You know this is the pathway that God is leading you to take. That way you will focus on it and you will not be as concerned about what Sister A or Brother B or Sister B is doing. You're not going to be worried about keeping up with the Joneses, because you're so busy with the things that you know that you've been called to do. So guys, I hope this is a blessing to someone out there. I really don't want to make this video so long, but I want to just throw this out there. I would like to recommend a devotional. You can find this devotional on the Bible app. It's called A U-Turn. I don't know if you can see. A U-Turn from Emotional Issues. And this is A U-Turn from Emotional Issues. This is by Pastor Tony Evans. You are out there, you're struggling with emotional issues or just comparisons, or you're just being sucked into the whole social media craze, and you're just always finding that you're comparing yourselves to everybody else and you want to be like everybody else and you're losing yourself. Guys, please take some minute to pray about it. Speak to somebody, speak to a counselor, speak to your pastor, speak to a trusted friend. Check out this devotional. I'm sure it will bless your life. Thank you so much, guys, for spending this time with me. If you're new, please do not forget to like and subscribe. It helps me out. It makes a huge difference. Thank you once again, and bye.